The police! Come on, let's go!
Welcome back to A Podcast Orange, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tom Crescenzo, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jack Siegel. How's it hanging, broski?
I am doing okay, Thomas. I just got my COVID test today to find out if I'm negative. And
Are you really negative?
I need to find out. I'm
true.
feeling negative. No, I went to Rite Aid and they you have to put like this thing in your nose. And
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny these days? Like, I went to Rite Aid to get tested for the new deadly virus that's killing everybody.
No, it's true. You think you'd get this at like a hospital that's, very, very like prestigious hospital, but no, you just go to Rite Aid. And it's
that's what I expect. I expect you to go to like a hospital where a bunch of fucking nurses in hazmat suits just put you in a plastic bag and like drag you to the back and then do the test. Instead, you just got some fucking hungover employee with a shitty ass cloth face mask on, like, "Hey, how you doing? Here for the coronavirus thing or whatever."
You don't even go in the store. Also, it's like a drive-through. You just go through like you're ordering a fucking cheeseburger. Instead, they just give you this thing to put in your nose, and it was kind of uncomfortable. But
it was a little invasive, I'd have to say.
I didn't like it,
Yeah, because I know my mom and dad got the antibodies test, but I'm pretty sure that's different from the actual "did you have coronavirus" test.
No, yeah, that is different. I got that one too. I do have the antibodies. That one they actually take like a blood sample, so you go in there and they just stick a needle in your arm and take some fucking blood. This one is to find out if you have
and
it.
then they fuck you in the asshole while you're unconscious.
And that
it really is beautiful how far we've come with medicine.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's like that was an extra treat for me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, but honestly, I don't even know why we're talking about Corona because we all know what's on everybody else's mind.
Yeah, we have more important shit to talk about.
Exactly. They're making a third sequel to Frozen. Can you believe it? No,
I know. Let it go.
Let it go already. It's done now.
Let it go.
We have
to. Franchise go.
Yeah. So obviously, I don't know if you guys have heard, but like cops, I don't know. I guess they kill black people or something. Like, did you hear that, Jack?
Apparently they did. I don't know. I've never had issues with police officers my whole life. They've always been nice to me.
And you're the only black guy I know that has.
So yeah.
So thanks, white guy. Thank you for telling us you had no issues with police.
Yeah, exactly. They've always been nice to me. I don't know what the issue is.
It's like, they let me off the hook for a DUI last year, but I mean, I don't know what's going on with you.
Stop breaking the law. No, I'm kidding. No, we're all on the fucking. Listen, guys. We're all on the side of the protesters and we are black people.
We are of 100% the opinion that George Floyd was murdered in cold blood by that police officer who is a psychopath. He should be charged with first-degree murder, and the other cops should be charged with at least accessory to murder.
Yeah.
And so we're just gonna get that out of the way so you know where we're at.
Yeah, where we stand. I know we make jokes and ironic comments, but at the end of the day, we really are on the side of the protesters 100%.
Exactly.
And, that cop should be charged with. He was charged with third-degree murder, which I had to look up. I didn't know what that was, and apparently,
it's like, what does that mean? It's like, well, he kind of murdered him, like a little bit, like not like really though.
Well, they said it was an accident, like it's an accidental murder. Like, how does
it's like teenage girl murder? It's like I kind of murdered him, but like not really, but like
a little.
Just like a little bit, like I kind of sort of murdered him in cold blood. Not like fully, but if you look back at it. But then again,
everybody accidentally murders somebody.
Oh, such a bullshit fucking charge. Like, it's like, his lawyer's just going to be like, yeah, so we're just going to plead the lesser charge and get you 10 years. You'll get out in good behavior in 5.
Yeah. If he gets convicted, I feel the problem also is that these cops.
Can I just say this too? I don't know. I know this is like it's kind of an awkward subject because this thing sort of needs to exist. But if you're a lawyer who defends people like this willingly, please kill yourself.
I mean, listen, everybody deserves defense.
But like,
still. I get it. Like, listen, I think the problem is that these cops have the best lawyers with I remember a bunch of years ago when Eric Garner was murdered. I was really, really
Oh,
personally like
I
I
was
was
heated about
so
that shit.
pissed, and
I remember
and
that shit. Oh,
and it's just
nobody
always
cared about that
amazing.
one. That one
Yeah,
was weird. No one gave a fuck. That was so weird. Like it
or the
was so
people that
clearly like
defended.
it was
Like,
like so clearly the cop himself had even had previous complaints about like abusing his power and like it's just weird that just kind of went under the radar. Like everyone saw it and people got pissed. And then just like nothing happened. It's like what the fuck? Like
yeah. Well,
I
that year
remember being
though,
really pissed about that.
and that year though was a very I was extremely heated because that was one of the first times that you have like videotape of this major event, and you see the guy get murdered. It says black and white, no pun intended, I guess, as this guy
It's as
getting
black
murdered.
and white as people.
This guy gets murdered in cold blood, and what always amazes me is no matter how obvious it is that these cops murder these people, there are always going to be those bootlickers who will have
Oh, of
some
course.
sort of lame ass defense. Well, he shouldn't have broken the law, or blah, blah, blah. It's always the
That's
same
my
shit.
favorite. That's my favorite. It's like, yeah, he shouldn't have sold that black market cigarette. That's why it's okay that he's dead now.
Yeah, exactly.
He shouldn't have ran that red light. If he wanted to be alive, why didn't he just stop at the red light?
You know what I kind of
He's
hope
like,
happens to those people, those bootlickers that say that, is that if they ever get pulled over for speeding, a cop just like asks them to roll their windows down and then takes a gun out and blows their brains out. And then like I'll say when they are dead and I'll go to their funeral, I'll tell their loved ones, well, he shouldn't have been speeding if he wasn't
yeah,
speeding.
exactly. Like I want to see that happen where like a cop gets pulled over by another cop and like the cop just like murders him in like the most brutal way possible, like beats him to death with a nightstick. Like I'd love to see all the people come out of the woodwork that like all the white people like, well, I mean, he should have had his blinker on.
They'll always,
he
yeah,
should,
just like
he should
minor
at least
defenses.
look. He should have at least not had his brights on the freeway. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
actually, to be honest, if you put your brights on the freeway, you should die. I'll take that.
Oh, those people suck. It's just like there's no point to it at all. But honestly, it's like cops that do that for like mine. Cops are basically like hall monitors. And I remember like we had hall monitors in high school. Imagine if you went out without a hall pass and the hall monitor like beat the everlasting shit out of you.
Yeah, right. Like, could you imagine if you were caught like cutting a class and like the hall monitor just fucking like maced you with pepper spray and then like twisted your arm in an unbendable direction until your shoulder broke and put cuffs on you?
Yeah, and then people have been like, well, listen, man, you should have had your hall pass out.
Yeah,
It's just the
it's like
same
shouldn't have
horseshit
cut
excuse.
Spanish. Shouldn't have cut fucking trigonometry. I know you don't think you need to know what a Pythagorean theorem is, but you do. That's why your arm is broken right now and you're in a cell.
This will come in handy later. But one thing I noticed also is that this one seems to be a little bit different because the George Floyd murder. I've noticed that
It's like
pretty much like
especially horrible. It's
well,
especially even people who are defending the cops are pretty much admitting, like, yeah, it's
well,
kind of murder. Like,
most people are not defending the cops, though. I've noticed like this one, 95% of people are like, yeah, that was fucked up. Even a lot of cops are going out publicly and saying like this was wrong and those people
I
should be
mean,
arrested.
some of that I feel like is propaganda. Like, I feel like some of these cops, like, they take a quick like Instagram video of them all kneeling while like a shitty song is played, and then they just tear gas the whole crowd right after the camera goes off. You know what I mean? Like,
Just for
I don't know if all that is
popularity.
like genuine. And here's
And
the thing: I don't want to shit on all like my like I have police in my family. Like, I don't want to shit on all cops or
yeah,
anything. I'm just saying, like, here's the thing: it's not about individual people who choose to become cops. It's about the police system that needs reform. That all of the quote unquote good cops are just letting continue to be shitty.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's what it's about. It's about the fact that all of these cops are complacent in a system that needs to be changed immediately. It's not, oh well, my uncle's always been a good guy. He bought me my first rolling paper and he taught me how to shoot a basketball. It doesn't matter. Like,
People always well, yeah, people always go like, my friend is a cop, and yeah, nobody's saying your friend's a piece of shit, okay? I get it. Like I don't hate all cops. I think that there are really good cops. I know there are good cops. I know people that are good cops.
Exactly.
We all
But
know
that's not
people that are
even
good cops. That's not the
but
point.
that's not even yeah, it's just not relevant. It's like saying like, it's like saying I know people who haven't died from cancer while smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like
yeah, but dude,
you're missing the
you're
point.
missing the point here. Like you might know like one person who smoked cigarettes until she was 98 and then didn't die of cancer. And it's like, good for you. But like, that doesn't change the fact that pretty much 90% of people who engage with this,
Yeah,
it's just kind of like, and I'm not saying cops are like as bad as cigarette. I'm just saying like the police system and our justice system as it is now is all probably as bad as like, it's like the cigarettes of America.
it really is. It's as cancerous, and I feel like yeah, no, the problem with the police department, I think, goes into the training because instead of the police are there to protect and serve, that's their basic function. But what happens is that the police uh, view a lot of civilians, particularly black people, people of color, as the enemies that were instead of the people that they're actually there to protect and serve. So it has this combative relationship with civilians right off the bat. And I think that starts a lot with the training in the police academies themselves.
Well, of course, because they're all going on statistics from like the 80s and 90s that are
Yeah.
just like, yeah, the darkies are a lot more likely to commit burglary. It's like you can't keep enforcing the law based on statistics that were written like 20 years ago in a time when it was acceptable to be completely racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like imagine like cop training. Like I don't want to stereotype, but I just imagine it's like, all right, so this is day 3 of cop training. Did everybody read the bell curve?
Yeah.
They're all just sitting there with their books, like, yeah, I read it's cover to cover, read the whole bell curve. Are
Has
we
anybody
reading
watched O'Reilly last night?
All right, has everybody downloaded the InfoWars app? It's like, yep, got it. Yep, right here, got it. Yep, check.
Well, it's
It's like, what
interesting
kind
you
of
say.
training are these guys getting? It's like, look, if you see a black guy, just make, he even if he isn't doing anything, you never know.
He probably was.
And they're all just like writing it down, like, okay, you never know, you never know. Okay, black eye, you never know.
Well, also those statistics are very they don't have a lot of people just look at the statistics and don't actually like interpret them as any underlying causes. They see like, okay, if in those statistics say like blacks commit more crime, but you're not looking at the underlying factors that contribute to crime, which is a lot
Yeah,
of
the
times
reasons
like
why.
poverty and lack of resources. And what it's like
Also
you
just
think
general treatment and fear. Like if
yeah.
you're brought up if you're brought up in a world where you know for a fact that cops are more likely to kill you because of your skin color, you're more likely to run from the police. And running from the police is a felony in and of itself. It's like, of course they're committing more crimes. You made them running for their life a crime.
Well, it's also like running for your life. That would be like if somebody is chasing you with a gun and then you can arrest, like, I'm going to shoot you, and now you're going to arrest him for running from you holding a gun.
Like I get why it's a law that you can't run from cop. Like if a cop wants to talk to you, he has to be able to talk to you. But it's just like the thing is, it's like people are like, well, black people commit more crimes. It's like, yeah, because they're like more afraid every single day. Like
Yeah, they think they're going to die.
yeah, like not all. Like obviously, we're not trying to stereotype black people here. Like black people are a monolith, but it's like like a lot. The people who really suffer the long term effects of police brutality, like they have to deal with hardships every day that force them into situations where they see no other way out. Like
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do at that point? Like
And that's why that's why Black Lives Matter exists, is to recognize those problems. And when those happen, those idiots that come out, and let's be honest here, let's not sugarcoat, and let's not like well, we have to give everybody fair treatment. It's pretty much 99% conservatives that are like the all lives matter people of like the people that have a problem with Black Lives Matter. It really is like mostly those people.
honestly, I don't mind. Like all lives matter is shitty, but I don't mind it as much as blue lives matter. Like to me, blue lives matter makes no sense. It's like you're basically saying, look, cops are more citizens than like it's like
Yeah.
cops are just like cops themselves are like elevated on a different pedestal. Like they have blue lives, they're blue, their skin might as well be blue. It's like no, like You
That's a
chose to
job.
become a cop. Like, you can't choose your race.
Yeah, that's a fucking job. You're
Yeah,
not.
like you picked that. You picked a job where part of the description is that you risk your life every day. And
And
now it's like you're wondering why your life is in danger. Like, what do you mean?
yeah, nobody forced you to become a cop. That's why I like when people are like, "Well, the job is really scary." It's like, well, yeah, that's no fucking shit. They
Yeah.
chose They chose to become cops. That was all their,
Like
that
if
was
I
their
if I became a
decision.
if I became a firefighter tomorrow, it'd be weird if I came home from work one day and I was like, I just can't take all the fire. Like, what's with all the fucking fire? Like I knew being a fireman meant dealing with fire, but there's fucking fire everywhere. Like,
Or you didn't even go to the fire and you're like scared and you're like, dude,
yeah,
I don't want to do that. That's
I'm just like
scary.
pussing out in the back. I was like, no, I'd rather just like let's just stop the fires before they start. So we'll just we'll just go to like businesses that we suspect of possibly having fires and hose them before it even happens.
And and also like most jobs you can't, like some jobs people say like, okay, it's a few bad apples, but like what's the rest of that phrase? What's the phrase? It's a few bad
Yeah.
apples spoils the bunch, meaning a few bad apples makes everyone else look like complete shit.
It's true.
And
And the worst part is you can't pick them out. Like when you have a few bad apples in a bunch, you can't just pick them out. It's not that easy to just be like,
yeah,
yep, that's a bad apple. That's what they know. Like they all pretty much look the same.
and if you're in a grocery store, people will be like, stop touching all the fucking apples, asshole. And
Yeah, right. They're like, why are you trying to pick out all the bad apples? All of our apples are fresh, you shithead.
yeah, exactly. And why are
You're
you
just
putting
like, I'm
those apples
sorry.
back?
You're like, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to satisfy this allegory I had about police brutality in my head.
We're using
You're
this
like,
for a
sir,
podcast.
sir, you're not even wearing a face mask right now. It's like, well, yeah, they're rioting in the street. I mean, who gives a shit?
This is
I do think it. Can I just say? I do think it, and I tweeted about this earlier. I do think it's kind of crazy how the whole country just unanimously was like, fuck coronavirus. Like, who cares?
yeah, we really like on a dime. That was the main
Yeah,
thing for months, and just on a
overnight. It's like
overnight,
overnight.
everybody just we're like fuck it, we're done. We found something
Yeah.
else.
Not
Everybody
even
was
like it's not even like people are like posting things that are like, even if you're scared of coronavirus, you can still like protest. Nobody's even posting that. It's like it
yeah.
never happened. People don't even remember it. It's crazy.
Although I will say that I was out. Me and Tom both live. I live near Comac. Tom lives in Comac, and there was
Yeah, there's protesters less than like 2 miles from my house right now. It's wild.
and in Macy's, and they were wearing face masks. I will say the ones that I drove by were wearing face masks.
It's just like it's like right before they leave, they run out. Like they have their whole like Che Guevara get up already. They're still like it's just these fucking privileged white kids. They're so ready to live action role play as like a revolutionary just for 1 minute. They're like, finally, this is why I listened to all those Rage Against the Machine songs. And then they're just about to run out the door. They're like, oh yeah, my mask.
I need my face mask. I
need
was
my
gonna
mask.
join them, but I had to go get the COVID test.
To be honest, like I was thinking about going to protest, but we had to record this podcast.
Yeah, we got
And
this is
sometimes duty calls.
Yeah, people have been pissed off if we didn't do that. If we didn't record, they would have been like, "What the fuck, guys? You were relying."
Yeah, they would have been like, you really went to protest instead of recording a new episode. You guys are pieces of shit.
Yeah, we're listening to. I don't want to publicly bash another comics podcast, but
oh man,
one day we'll get there.
It'd be too. There's way too many that you could publicly bash too.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Most of them suck. No offense, guys.
Yeah, sorry guys.
We love you guys, but you're not.
I'm not saying that our podcast is better than yours, but it's like so much better than yours. It's crazy.
It's not even a comparison. No, like you guys are my friends, the ones that have podcasts, but our podcast is the best podcast.
We're not like and we're not singling out anybody's podcast in particular because they're all just not as good as ours.
Yeah,
it's just unanimous.
And you know who you are, like you know.
Every single one of you knows.
You are shit. But so I saw a footage though. My friend, here's a funny little thing in all the dramatic thing. My friend lives in LA, and he sent me a photo from the protests, and these ones were more like riots because there was fire and mayhem everywhere. And and like there was like people fighting and like rah! And in this photo though, in the side was a guy just doing whippets like out in public just for no just like
He's just like, this is how I joined the fight.
he had a full tank filled with a nitrous oxide doing balloons like this.
He's just like, nobody is going to fucking stop me right now.
Yeah, no police are dealing. If any time to do like whippets out in public, it's right then and there.
Oh,
you know,
dude, I've been smoking weed publicly on the street in my neighborhood every day. Like, I'm just like, if anybody comes up to me, all I'm going to say, I'm going to be like, sir, there's literally like, there's still a global pandemic happening and people are rioting in the street. The country is on fire. Is this really how you want to spend your time?
yeah, is this really a priority? Your
Like,
boss
you really
would
wanna-
just be like rolling his eyes if you drag me back to the station right now. Like,
Yeah, right. Like, if a cop really got a call over this right now, he'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
this is why you're still an officer at 45. You can't, you don't know your priorities.
Oh God.
It's
just
a
wild.
depressing thing though.
It is such a depressing situation because if you are rioting, like, don't think I don't understand. Like, I get being that angry. I can imagine if I was truly that angry. Like, I could never say what I would think if I were black, but I can imagine that I would, if I were like in the city, I probably would. I might riot. You know, I am a very emotional person. I could see myself getting that angry and wanting to do it. I'm just like, I just wish that people could kind of admit that, like, it's not really a positive thing. Like you think it is, like you frame it as like, oh, this is it. It's a revolution. We're revolting. But odds are like, it's not like the real revolution. Most of you are going to get arrested and wind up with criminal records, which really sucks for you, even if you have like bailout funds in place. And it's also just like destroying the big chains. Who gives a fuck? You want to burn Target? Go for it. You want to burn Walmart? Fucking dance on the ashes. I don't care. But if you're fucking like, you're just vandalizing small businesses, literally just these people who work their whole lives to build something and like literally like beating the shit out of them guarding their stores. I just don't see how that helps.
No,
I don't see how that makes your cause look any better. If anything, it makes the divide larger. Like before the riots start, everyone was pretty much in agreement. Yeah, George Floyd was murdered. Now with the riots, you have so many more people who are getting wishy-washy on this shit because everyone's like, it's just not worth it. Like, there's better ways to effectively attack the system, and there's more organized and smarter ways. I'm sorry, I
totally, dude. No, go off, man. I appreciate that. I completely agree with that 100%. I don't endorse or condone violence in any way, except for that kid who wrote that article about fat shaming Godzilla.
I honestly, if any of the rioters want to go attack that guy, that'd be cool.
That would be you have our permission. I don't condone violence in any way, although I will say, and that now this not be backtracking. The one thing that I will say about the riots that I think is a positive is I don't think that cop would have been arrested had it not been for the riots, because I feel like
that's true. I think true.
The riots happened in a way where I think they were like, listen, we can fire him, we're not going to arrest this cop, and then like the city started to burn literally, and then the cops were like, all right, we got to do something. And they
honestly, that's a great point. I hadn't really thought about that. I'll still say that, like, I don't think it's like I will stand by that. I don't think this is the smartest way to go about like
I don't think so.
enacting the social changes, because I just think it's going to wind up with a lot of people hurt and a lot of people incarcerated and just a lot of pain in the end. But you are very right that perhaps the initial explosion of anger is what facilitated the charge. And hopefully if they can move it up to first-degree murder, then hopefully that calms things down a little bit too.
Well, I think the reason that it's third-degree murder, and I've
is because they're fucking pussies.
Well, I talked to a couple of people who are like law people or whatever, and they said that it would be easier. Like cops are so rarely convicted that it would be an easier conviction with a lesser charge of third-degree murder. Because
but that's the problem. It's like, why are cops so rarely convicted? Like,
why do cops have more power than us?
You're not going to tell me that they're not fucking acting up a lot. Like, why are they not getting convicted? Like,
well, not only that, but if you murder a cop, you get more of a harsh prison sentence than if you murder
Yeah.
any other civilian. That's bullshit.
It's like, why is your life worth more than mine just because
Yeah.
you have a fucking badge and a gun? Like, why should I go to jail for longer for killing you than for killing like a baby? Like, what is the difference?
It's true. Cops are viewed by the law as being more important than average citizens.
It's
And
disgusting, kind of. Like, it kind of is. Like, I hate to admit it, but it's sick. Oh man. Like,
I think the whole thing, though, the rioters and the protesters, they really want these the other cops that were there to get arrested too. And I think
I agree. I agree
once
fully
that
with them.
happens, I think that has to happen. And once that does, the riots will calm down. Because I really listen. I get it. I totally understand this anger. I mean, I can't fully grasp it because I don't have to deal with racism.
I mean, you are Jewish, so you've had to deal with like
that's
prejudice.
true. No, I do have to deal with some like bullshit ass prejudice. I've
like
had to deal with that shit my whole life.
Like
but it's a different
kind
of
fucking Jew.
Yeah, like with dealing with like racist ass Goombas and shit. And
Goombas.
I get it,
It's like the Goombas from the Super Mario games are just saying the N-word.
Like, get out of here, you Jew. And Mario's like
just marching. Yeah, Mario's like, I'm Italian. They're like, it's all the same, Jew boy. Oh, it's all the same, Jew boy. Get out of here.
I need to rescue the princess.
It's like, the princess is a whore, you Jew. Get out of here.
And Super Mario is
I can't believe how intolerant you are. I cannot believe how intolerant you are.
Mario is a simp, but we'll talk about that some other time.
I'm just trying to imagine like Bowser, like just Mario finally confronting Bowser, and Bowser's like, "Do you really think I would let you stop me from bringing back the Third Reich, Mario?" And Mario's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Bowser has a swastika. He's like, "I'm just a plumber. I'm not trying to start any wars."
That all of Bowser's spikes have like white hoods on them. And Mario's just like, "Holy shit, I might have a bit off more than I can chew."
Bowser's a fucking white supremacist. What does that make Donkey Kong? We're not even going to go there.
Whoa, okay.
All right, I'm just kidding.
I would love for them. I'm still just kidding. For this next basic minute I'm talking, I'm still just kidding. But it would be kind of funny if the next Nintendo game was just a game where like everyone from the Donkey Kong games just started destroying the entire Nintendo universe. Just taking it over.
That was a game, Rampage or whatever.
Rampage. Oh god. All right. Okay, kidding time over. Back to discussion.
Back to serious. You know who I fucking hate though? I hate all these people that are saying that Martin Luther King would not approve of these riots. All these people, because all those people that are criticizing Martin Luther King, it's like you guys wouldn't have been on Martin Luther King's side in the 1960s. You would have been totally against him.
Literally though, like you're talking like if it was 1952, you would have just walked into a whites only restaurant and be like, "Hey, this isn't okay, fellas.
This isn't
We're gonna have to straighten this out around here. I want some blacks in here as soon as possible."
No, yeah, exactly. You would have been anybody who let's be honest, anyone who supports Trump would not have been on Martin Luther King's side in the 60s. Shut the fuck up. Even his daughters went out and said that recently. They put out a statement of saying, "Stop quoting my dad to try to shame the protesters." Like it's bullshit. It's just
I mean, to be fair, most people who support Trump, they're probably not even on Martin Luther King's side right now. They're just quoting him because they want the protester to see, and they just want to be like, "See, here's a black guy who thinks you guys are stupid."
Yeah, exactly. That's why the only time I really respect the Trump supporter is when he just straight out admits, he's like, "Yeah, I don't fuck these people." If you just be honest with yourself, don't be. I hate the racists that try to hide behind of "No, I'm not racist." It's if you're racist, just be like, "Yeah, I'm a fucking racist piece of shit." I don't respect you. I should take that back. Not yeah.
You're like, I really respect the racism, but
no, I just I prefer just somebody who's just out and about, just honest about how they feel instead of.
No, I get it. I get it, Jack. I do get it. You prefer whites.
Yeah, exactly. That's
All
I'm
right.
glad we're on the same page here.
Speaking of, can I just say one thing? Speaking of phony fucking white people, though, like if you're white and you're just going out to protest because you want to get the clout, or you want to just like you're just, or you just want to like look like a revolutionary to yourself and like
Don't get the light.
smash a couple windows and like put photos of yourself on Instagram and just be like, see, I'm part of it. It's like, please just like go find, if you're looting, find the nearest Ace Hardware, get the thickest rope you could find, tie it into a noose, and kill yourself with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you're not like, you don't care. You don't actually care about what's going on. You're just doing this because you want a chance to feel like you're actually in one of those old documentaries about the 60s, or like you're actually in a movie about a revolution and it's so cool and I can put it on my story and oh, maybe I can get a new Nintendo Switch out of it. It's like, suck a dick.
Yeah.
Okay?
No,
If you're that guy,
likes.
look, if you're white, if you want to peacefully protest, that's fine. Be serious about it and actually care about what you're doing. And if you can't protest, donate. Like I donated to the fucking George Floyd Memorial Fund. I'll see if there's other places I can too, but it's just like, I'm sick of all these phony assholes who are just like, they're just claiming to be all like anti-police brutality now because they want to fucking break into GameStop and get the next update of like Terraria or some shit. It's like,
well, it's all like no, it's all I completely agree. I think it's a phony millennial and Gen Z thing. It's like people want to do things for the likes, you know what I mean? They do they do it for like oh, look at me, I'm with them right now. It's it is really contrived and really narcissistic, and they'll take like selfies at the protest and put it on Instagram and have like hashtag BLM and just fuck up. You know, you're not.
Or you'll see them post that fucking photo of like the black hand and the white hand linked at the pinky. And it's just like I accept that I can't understand, but even so, I stand. It's like, fuck you. Like,
fuck you and your rhymes.
Do you really think, fuck you and your rhyme scheme and your shitty fucking photo that you copy pasted, you cunt. Like, what does that say? Like, what are you trying to show there? You're like, yeah, see, I care about black people. This is a white hand and a black hand together.
I cared enough to share this trite saying that I had no part. Come up with your own expression. Share your own thing. Make your own fucking rhyme. You know what I mean?
It's so true. Like I cared enough to copy this photo to my clipboard, okay?
That's all you're about. It's all about. That's a way for white people to make it all about themselves. Even still, even to make a black protest, make it all about you and what you like. It's just selfish. And listen,
it's never like, even white people have been posting, like this fucking comedian Paul F. Tompkins posted like a tweet, and like it was like a whole thread, and obviously I didn't read the thread, but the first tweet he was like, I grew up in an ethnic neighborhood around all different kinds of people, black people, Hispanics, Jewish people. I myself was like whatever ethnicity. I still turned out racist. Here's how. It's like, why don't you just fucking like overdose on heroin, Paul F. Tompkins?
I'm kind of disappointed because I like Paul F. Tompkins that he did that, but that makes me think of like that scene of the opening of The Jerk with Steve Martin when he just like, I was born a poor Negro child, and it's just because he doesn't know that he was white.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's just like look, just because you grew up in an ethnic neighborhood doesn't mean you have some kind of like authority on how to not be racist that you get to preach to white people. Like, probably just as ignorant as everyone else. Like, you're even admitting it in the tweet. Why should I listen to you beyond your admission? You're like, I still turned out racist. It's like, okay, cool, bye. Like,
yeah, I don't have to listen to you anymore. You know, I was like, you just said that you're racist, and it's like I never understood the purpose of I was even talking, I don't understand the purpose of like white guilt or like I hate being white. It's like, dude, you should love
it just doesn't get you anywhere. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you really gain out of saying that? You're like, oh, I hate being white. It's like, wow, good for you. Like, did you vote for somebody who's actually going to enact social change? Like, have you like donated any causes? Are you an activist in any way? Or do you just want to say you hate being white so you can get some Antifa pussy?
Yeah, and that's another way of being privileged too, because you're saying, you know, all this great stuff about being all these societal advantages. I hate that. Like, I mean, like you shouldn't like the fact that people are advantaged, But like, if anybody had I think Chris Rock had a bit about that. Like, dude, I would choose being white any day. Like, he's not saying that being white is better. He's saying the advantages and the privileges of being white is better.
I mean, he's basically just speaking to the fact that like white people, like because of society, white people have an unfair advantage over like black
Yeah.
people and colored people in general, which is true. It's just like I don't know. You don't have to be guilty about who like your own flesh just because you believe that. You know what I mean? Like you can believe that America is a corrupted society with a racist system in place that needs to be changed without hating your own organs. You know what I mean? It's like your skin's just an organ.
It's all for you. It's all to make yourself feel better and to pat yourself on the back and to say to the black people like, hey, I'm one of the good ones, and then them to be like, oh wow, it's all for you. Just be a good person. Just be a normal functioning human being.
Exactly. And if you want to be part of social change, either like I don't know, like donate to something you believe in or fucking vote for people who you know are going to enact sensible policies that make sense. It's like there's nothing better you can do honestly right now than vote. Like if you like right now, like it's even though all we have other than Trump is a fucking senile old man with dementia who's almost just as racist. Like it's still like it's so important right now. Like there's other people who will be on the ballots like in November. There's
Don't
not.
vote for a third party. I disagree.
I'm not saying a third party. I'm saying there's other like party positions that'll be like on the ballots, right?
No, I agree.
Like,
and listen, you can vote for
other seats. Like you can vote for like just because Joe Biden is terrible doesn't mean you can't vote for other Democrats like in other positions who are.
I say, listen. I mean, I at the end of the day, I'm not a huge Joe Biden fan. But at the end of the day, you're stuck with two people, and I'm voting for Biden over Trump, and I think I fucking hate that dude. I've always hated him, even long before he was the president of the United States. And
Jack's just always felt like Donald Trump has been cucking him his whole life.
I've always had it out for him. No, I honestly though I think that Biden is a better choice than Donald Trump. Even today I read somewhere that like Trump went and to like he caused protesters to be tear gassed because he went out to get a photo op at a church, and we were just talking about how much we hate those people that do those phony photo ops, and he's just a piece of shit, man. I would vote for Biden over. Listen, you can do whatever you want, and at the end of the day, it's obviously it's up to you. I think that
no, I'm voting for Biden too. I'm just fucking like if this is really like 4 more years of this crap. No, thank you. Like, no, thank you, please.
Yeah,
but fucking regardless, I don't know. It's just it's just such a crazy time. Like this is so unprecedented. Like pandemics have happened and race riots have happened, but when's the last time race riots happened during a pandemic?
This is like the craziest shit, man. This
sounds like someone tweeted. I'm sorry to cut you off, but someone now tweeted like I forgot what, but they were like America right now seems like God is trying out premises at an open mic.
Yeah,
that kind of is what it's like.
Shit you could possibly think of. It's like this year. It started off. Australia was on fire. We almost had World War III. We had a pandemic. We had these murder hornets, but never really came about of anything.
That was just a bunch of crap.
That was one story that never really came into fruition, it seemed. And now we have these race riots. It's just like, and the year's like not even halfway over.
Yeah, right. We're not even really in the summer yet. Who knows what's fucking coming? Like I feel like next month, like Satan is just gonna rise up from the ground and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking over the planet now." By the way,
yeah,
you guys are all slaves to hell. Like you're all just gonna be fucking each other gaily for eternity.
If 2020 was a movie, it would be one of those movies where you're like, dude, I'm not even gonna tell you what happens in this movie, but you gotta watch it. This shit is nuts. This is like
the right
fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's like, well, give me a quick summary. It's like, nah, man, I can't. Like, you just gotta watch.
Do justice. You just gotta find out for yourself.
It's just wild. Like this shit is like this is going to like the next couple of like the next year or so is going to decide how the history books are written. And it's
Yeah.
just crazy to be alive and just be as old like our age at a time like this. It's very it's confusing. It's confusing as fuck. You know what I mean? Like I'm like I consider my purpose in life to be a comedian. Like I want to make people laugh and stuff. But then when it comes to like things like where I actually believe in serious shit, it's just like fuck, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to reconcile. Like
no, it's hard to make sense of it all. And
like I just want to keep being funny, but I keep seeing shit on social, like just all over the news and social media that just makes me not want to laugh. And it's just like,
well,
God damn it.
When people try too hard to make jokes out of like really serious stuff, it comes off like you come off like a try hard and an edgelord, and it just it's like tacky at best and just like really lame at worst.
Yeah, like people.
And Mark, though, I do want to talk about something that we wanted to say before. Speaking of tacky and disrespectful and just god awful.
Oh yeah.
We have this photo that this woman posted on a Facebook. I saw this woman. I don't know her personally, but and we'll put the photo.
Yeah, we're gonna put it up so you can see, but it's quite this is like
we have to see it to really believe it.
Yeah, like this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Just this phony, like dumb white, like virtue signal. Like, don't worry, we're all united, whites and N-words. Like they're literally just like they say the N-word. They're like, I have no problem with N-words. It's like, all right, fucking shit. Like first, all right, let's really like examine this photo for a minute. Like we all just have to look at this, okay?
So the opening.
First of all, the quote. There's a quote beneath it. It says, "It's up to us to fix it. Hashtag unite. Hashtag love, not hate." And then there's a quote underneath a black guy with a T-shirt with George Floyd's face on it and a gun in his waist.
It doesn't look like George Floyd at all.
I don't know what else it's supposed to be though. Like, is that supposed to be like, who is that?
I don't know. George Floyd didn't have glasses.
Like, do they just assume like, yeah, black people just have older black people on their T-shirts all the time? I don't know what that's about, but they just do that.
He didn't have glasses and he didn't have a goatee.
True. And like, if that is supposed to be George Floyd, it's a pretty shitty George Floyd, but whatever. It's an insanely stereotypical black guy bumping fists with a white guy who's wearing a Confederate flag hat.
Not only that, though, he has an American flag T-shirt. So that
with the sleeves cut off.
With the sleeves cut off. Oh wait, no, I figured it out. It's supposed to be Malcolm X, I think.
Oh, that's Malcolm X.
I think
even worse. It looks nothing like him.
I think because he's got like a suit. I don't know.
Who knows? It's just whatever.
No matter who it is.
The worst part of it all is that the quote, it says, "I got your back, brother."
Like,
what is that supposed to be?
Brother.
It's like, don't worry, boy.
Yeah.
I got your back. Like, oh, it's just
also,
hideous.
The black guy, he's got like stereotypical dreadlocks, and he has a Jamaican flag on his pants, and they're doing a fist bump, and they're both like tatted up. And
I just love how they think that people actually are like this.
People are just caricatures. That's just
like there's definitely white people like the white guy in this, but
yeah.
I think the funniest part is like they both have guns. Like they're trying to be like, see, they're both armed because the right to bear arms. But I like how they're like, but the white guy is sensible enough to put it in his holster. The black guy just puts it in his waistband. Like,
yeah, the black guy's just it's just in his back pocket. That could go off at any time. He's got like Plaxico Burress's gun.
Like, why wouldn't the black guy have a fucking holster? Like, why wouldn't you draw it that way, you fucking idiot?
Why is and also, okay, so the fact that I hate people with the Confederate flag because it's just like, dude, really, you're still on that shit?
I mean, it's a Nazi symbol at this point.
It is. And also, you have a Confederate flag hat and an American flag T-shirt. Like, do you not know they fought against each other? They're not allies. They're fought against each other, you fucking idiot. That would be like if you wore a swastika and an American flag. Like, you fucking...
Not even. It's like if you wore a swastika hat and then a shirt with a Jew star on it.
Yeah, it's so, yeah, exactly. It's just so like, and also you really think, you dumb cunt motherfucking piece of garbage human being who shared this, that you think that a person with a Confederate flag would be on this guy's side, would be fighting with this person? Like, oh yeah, man, this is who I know I like to wear Confederate flags, and I'm big conservative dude, but I'm on the side against police brutality. Like, really? Like, how fucking delusional are you?
Yeah,
You're
it's like this image literally doesn't exist in reality. This was made up by some like who knows, just some fucking fat dumbass Long Island Republican who is just like sitting at their desktop because they don't know how else to fucking like make something like this.
Yeah, this
And
it's
it's like
wrong as shit. It looks like it was made on Google Paint, like by
like
a
they
fucking third
fucking
grader.
they're sweating pus out of the blackheads on their nose while they're just working for hours to draw this crap.
Some fucking neckbeard with Dorito shavings on
And
his
he's just sitting there like thinking he's like perfect. I drew a black guy exactly as black guys look, so it's perfect.
dude. You would find Bigfoot, Canadian now.
Bigfoot.
You'd find Bigfoot anally raping a unicorn before you find this picture. Like,
you could find Kim Jong Un giving rights to his people before you could find this combination of human beings.
yeah, this is so tone deaf, and just the fact that nobody realizes like how tone deaf and like disrespectful and just god awful in every single way this photo is. It's
This
like,
is horrible. It's
this is
literally
just
like
the
a.
worst thing ever.
I feel like I'm looking at one of those old Looney Tunes cartoons where they would draw black people with like snouts and tails, and it's just like God, like this is
It's
horrific. Like
it literally, like, hate I know we say we hate people a lot on this program, but the person who shared this, I hate this person with a capital H, and I hope she gets run over by a car. I really do.
I hope she gets like coronavirus and she gets put on a ventilator and then recovers from the virus, but the damage to her lungs is too severe for her to live anyway.
And she just,
That's what I'm hoping.
just sharing shit like this.
Oh, it's just like, and also just the idea. It's like, don't worry. The best way to solve social issues is fist bumping.
Yeah, because all black people love fist bumping.
Yeah,
That's
like
why
all you got to do is fist bump them. Like if you see a bunch of people protesting in the street, just give them a fist bump and they'll calm down.
Hey man, pound it, because we all love fist bump.
Yeah, because we're black and we're exactly like you think we are. You fucking idiot.
We all wear dreads and have Malcolm X on our t-shirts with
Yeah, we all have the Jamaican flag on our pants and we put our guns in our waistbands because who needs holsters when you have melanin?
exactly. Who needs brain cells when you just have stereotypes and stigmas, and you're just an awful human being that just conjures up these images?
Oh, it's literally like the most cringy thing I've ever seen. Like Jack sent this to me an hour ago, and I'm so glad he found it because it's hilariously bad. Like
I was gonna like write like I hate you to this person. Like, I don't know why.
you're just gonna message them.
Just,
Hey, my name is Jack Siegel. I know you don't know me and we never met, but I fucking hate you so much.
I know we need more positivity, but like, I really fucking hate you, lady. But I just laugh reacted at it, which is kind of the same thing in a way, but not really.
I mean, it's not because a laugh react is sometimes seen as laughing with you. Like, it's not really construed as laughing at you.
But this was, I don't know, how could you, because this wasn't shared, like, ironically. This lady was like, wow, that's beautiful, and she shared it. And
I mean, yeah, in that case, yeah.
You know, I pushed out. I should have written, like, I fucking hate you, but I try to avoid social media.
I mean, yeah, what would that have really done? You would have gotten into a paragraph war with this bitch, and then nothing would have happened. Like,
no, it didn't. So I just reacted of like, "Hey, you dumb bitch!" Like,
you're a fucking retard.
ha ha. That's like the Nelson laugh, almost the laugh reaction.
Yeah, right. Oh, you know what's even worse is like the people. Like you'll talk to people and like this is already known, but it's like I still hear people will say like, look, I have no problem with black people. It's N-words I can't stand. It's like, dude, like the fact that you even said that, like you might as well just like get a crowbar and use like the sharp end to just bludgeon your own skull. Like,
because it's like you think black people are gonna be like, wow, okay, yeah, I thought you
they're
were
gonna be, oh, okay, as long as I don't act out like an N-word, I'll be good.
yeah, I thought you were racist, man. I guess
I guess you just hate N-words, not black people. Okay.
like, man, this was my mistake, sir. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I was misconstrued. I didn't realize you're actually quite progressive individual.
Or the people of like they see that's the thing is always the people are like, I don't mind a good protest, but and there's always
Yeah, right. It's like you don't want to protest. That's the thing. Those people don't really. They say I don't care if you protest, but that's bullshit. They just want to protest that's not gonna bother them. They want you to like protest in the park and have like a little barbecue and play frisbee or some shit.
Yeah,
They don't want you to actually march for change.
no, they don't want real change. They didn't like it when the people literally when they were playing the national anthem at a 49ers game and Colin Kaepernick took a knee at a song, like people shit their pants and just like
Yeah.
oh my god, the national anthem, and it's just like, dude, that was about as peaceful a protest as you're gonna get.
Yeah, right. Like you're freaking out. Like, why are you rioting? It's like, well, maybe because when I took a knee, you called me the N-word again, and then you just completely disregarded what I was talking about. Like,
Any form of protest, people will say like, "Oh man, why do you protest this way? Why can't you do?" You just don't want them to protest. Be honest.
People are like, I don't care if you protest, just don't kneel for the anthem. It's like, what's so great about the fucking anthem? Like,
yeah, exactly.
why is the
Song? Who gives a shit?
It's not even a good song. Like, it's just a stupid little chant. Like, by the time I was in 7th grade, I didn't even say it in the morning. I didn't even stand. It's like, who gives a shit? Like
that shit. Daniel, one of my
I mean,
favorite.
we were, come on, don't deny. Like, when we were little kids, we all did the robotic. I pledge allegiance, like.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I didn't. I was like, this is fucking retarded. I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah, when you were smart in high school.
When that happened. No, but one of my favorite bits is Daniel Tosh said like the national anthem blows. Nobody has it on their iPod. It's like it's true.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Nobody
it's just
that shit. Like,
it's so shit. And you know what? Also, like, I think the worst thing too is like when people are arguing about this, like especially when people are trying to defend cops, people be like, "Come on, bro, they kill white people all the time. They kill white people more than black people." And it's just like, "Oh, really? They kill more white people than black people?" Seems like a weird reason to defend them. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You're saying they kill more of you than the people who are rioting in the street over it, and you're not like worried about that.
The fact that you're not angry proves that it doesn't matter to you. And it's
like you're. I've never heard that defense. It's like, yo, they're not that bad. They kill us all the time. So what?
Or even the more bullshit defense is people will say, well, more black people kill black people than cops. It's like, dude, there's a million times more black people than cops. Cops are a job.
I mean, that's almost like that's like almost like beating a dead horse. Like that's been pretty clearly racist for a while. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
like anytime people do the black on black crime argument, it's like, all right,
you're a fucking racist, right? Well, there's a problem with one of the big problems is that racists have realized that being explicitly racist now is socially unacceptable. So, and back in the day, in the 50s and even like the 60s and whatever, people are like, yeah, I hate black people. And it's like, okay, those are racist, and they would like own up to it and they would be proud of it in a way. But now they try to say like, now it's all asterisk. It's all, I'm not racist, but, or like,
it's all hidden.
Because they realize we can't say we're racist. We can't explicitly be racist. So we have to
this is screwed up to say. Like, I just think some of them genuinely might be so ignorant they don't even know. Like, people might be like, is it really racist to say black people commit more crimes? And it's like, yes.
You don't realize that. I think some people might be so delusional.
It's possible. Like, you can truly be deluded enough to believe that you're completely different than from what you are.
Yeah. And no, it's true. You can believe people will not realize like Confederate flags are racist, or like they don't. It's like they don't get it. But I think there are actual because Richard Spencer, that is the guy who's like the famous white nationalist. He'll say on recording, he'll say like, I'm not a Nazi. I'm not racist. He'll say that I'm not racist. And it's because he knows that he can't sell himself publicly.
Because it's always followed with something racist anyway. Like he's always just like, I'm not racist. I just believe in a white nation. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
But he also realizes he can't become a liked public figure if he says I'm racist. So he has to sort of use these dog whistle bullshit terms instead of just owning up to his fucking racism. And
you know what's crazy? I'm sorry to. It's very true what you're saying though. Like it's true. Like he very much wishes he could get to that mainstream level by just like skirting to the side. But I kind of have it's a kind of a crazy experience where like he actually, because I went to college at the University of Florida, and he actually came there to speak.
Oof.
And UF was one of the only schools that didn't deny him. Like they didn't say you're not allowed to come. So obviously there was a huge protest and stuff. And I remember like going to the protest, obviously to like protest and also to just kind of like experience it and like film it and just like see this history happening. And I remember at the time thinking that was like one of the craziest like historical moments I'd ever see.
Yeah.
Now this shit's happening.
That's like nothing compared to that.
Yeah, like Richard Spencer doesn't even exist anymore. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. After he got punched in the face and that was recorded on video, which I play every now and again just for fun. It's a great YouTube video of him just getting like decked in New York City. After that, like he's kind of disappeared. That must have been fucking nuts. I didn't even know that happened. Like
yeah, dude, it was wild. I remember because people were calling the UF president a Nazi just for having him. And here's the thing, like I don't necessarily agree with that. Like I do, like I think if someone is not being outwardly like harmful, they should be allowed to speak. Like if they're retarded, then their words will speak to how dumb they are. It won't matter. But it's just like obviously people are, it was a very scary kind of thing to claim to be. And like UF had a weird sort of situation when I was there. Like there was also an incident where a kid started walking around campus with a swastika.
Fuck.
And I remember like the first day, like I saw him, like I just saw this kid with a swastika on his arm, and I was like, oh fuck, like what even is that? Like, am I seeing that? And nobody was doing anything. Then the next day, I wind up in the same area. That kid is standing in the middle of like the free speech center of campus, and there's just a giant crowd around him of people just fuck you, fucking die, Nazi. And I was like, wow, overnight, holy shit,
fuck. Jesus, dude, your college experience was much more interesting than mine.
I remember going up to him, like I was just filming the whole thing, like I was just trying to get the footage just to see it, and I'm like putting the camera like right in his face, and I'm just like, bro, like,
why would you do that? Like, why would you? What do you think you're going to accomplish? Do you think you're going to convert some of these people into not? Do you think people aren't going to react exactly the way that they've reacted?
Well, yeah, it's like what's the point you're making? It's like I'm just trying to show that you can wear Nazi shit. It's like what?
Wall? Well, first you can, but you're going to be treated like very with open hostility.
Yeah, exactly. Like
there's a debate, and it's an interesting topic that we'll spend more time on another episode about like the merits of free speech and all that stuff, because there was a big like debate a few years ago about whether it's socially acceptable to punch Nazis in the face. And I was thinking, like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I don't care. Fuck it.
I mean, it's just like, I think personally, like, obviously, I think the morally correct thing is, is always just like if you can avoid violence, do.
Yeah, no, true.
If you're standing in the middle of public with a Nazi symbol on your arm, like, I don't really know what you think is gonna happen. Like, you literally might as well be standing there yelling the N-word out loud. Like, what do you think is gonna happen to you?
No, like we said, we don't condone violence in any way, but
yeah, I'm not saying it's good that you get punched. I'm just saying it's like if you're gonna actually attack people's emotions that voraciously, like
you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, just stop being retarded. Like I hate to use the "you were asking for it" argument, but
you were fucking asking for it.
You're kind of fucking asking for it a little bit. I think all Nazis were asking for it. I'll say that.
And if you see a Nazi on the street, punch him in the face. I'll go. I'll go out.
Look, maybe don't punch him in the face. We're not savages here. Kicking him in the nuts, though.
There we go.
Now that's fun. You don't leave a mark on his face so he can't sue you, and you get to watch him writhe in pain. That must be great.
You kick them in the nuts, and then they lean over, and then when they're leaned over, then you punch them right in the face.
Yeah, then you knee them in the fucking nose and break their fucking septum.
Kick them in the face. Well, you have no problem. And if you can say the guys on a podcast Orange said to do that in court, and I'll take the heat for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying I'm not stopping anybody
Yeah.
from
I'm not.
kicking a Nazi in the balls and then breaking both of his orbital bones with their knee. I'm not, again, just.
I will play the Joe Paterno role and look the other way on that.
I will be the Joe Pa of the situation.
I didn't see nothing. You know, people say like I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know
It's
nothing.
funny because the Joe Pa of child molestation was horrible, but the Joe Pa of racial justice being served, pretty good guy.
But yeah, you know, he looks the other way for a good reason.
Exactly. He doesn't report it because he knows when a Nazi's getting the shit beat out of him, it's kind of a good thing.
It's always a good thing to beat the shit out of Nazis. So we are at an hour here. Do you want to want to
I
wrap
think
up?
I think it might be time to wrap this up. I guess just some quick closing remarks. Like,
Yes.
if you're out there protesting, we support you. Be safe and be sensible. If you're going to riot, like, please just try to keep it to like just property and windows and shit. Like, please don't hurt any innocent people. Like,
Right.
please don't make the situation worse. Please don't make the cause look bad. There's plenty of other ways that you can actively support this cause. There's plenty of places you can donate to.
Yeah.
Hell, we might even link some of them in the description of this video. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
plenty of places. Yeah, we'll link them. Like, there's plenty of places you could donate to. There's plenty of ways you could be an activist without fucking driving your car into a 7-Eleven. So just be sensible, protest, speak your mind. Don't let them silence you. And fuck the police coming straight from the underground.
And I will say that I completely agree with everything you just said. Black Lives Matter. You know, we're being.
Oh yeah, yes, that too. Black Lives Matter. Yes.
And let's see, what else do I have to say? You know, yeah, no, it's a shitty situation. I really hope that the violence ends soon. You know,
I hope
sometimes,
justice is served too. Like, we do really
yeah, that's
genuinely
the
hope.
more important thing. I hope these guys get thrown in prison. It's good
Yeah.
that some cops, and you know, and I like to say, don't hurt any, don't like hurt any, just go around hurting cops, because there are good cops, and
And it's also just not gonna, like, if you go around hurting cops, like, even if you feel justified, it's only gonna wind up worse for you
Yeah.
in the end. Like,
there are cops on your side. There are cops that support you. So you got to look at the bigger picture. And there are cops that think that these guys should get thrown in prison. And the last thing
and if you're worried about getting arrested for exercising free speech, just imagine the fucking knees in your back when you actually try to attack a cop. Like, I'm just saying, like, think about your safety out there, folks. Really, like, this is a crazy time to be alive, and everyone feels like they're invincible, but you really aren't. So just be careful. Express your cause, like, support it. We support you.
behind you.
Podcast Orange loves each and every one of you.
Yes. I love each and every one of you. And I love everybody except for that lady who shared that photo on social media.
Except for that fucking lady who shared that retarded photo.
She should fucking die. I hate you. I fucking hate you, lady.
All right, yeah. All right, I think that's all we had to say. Have a great night, guys. Please be safe. Justice for Floyd. See you next week.
Yep.
All right, Podcast Orange out.